So in this video, I'm going to go over the secret to maintaining control when hiring remote talent. So let's jump into it. Now, before we get started, my background. My name is Benjamin Morone. I'm the founder of VA Tasks. We've placed over 20 different individuals in multiple businesses. I help entrepreneurs and small business owners get their weekends back. Now, I want you to understand that it's totally normal to be hesitant of letting go of control of your company. It's totally normal to be hesitant to give up control on certain things inside of your business. The company, it's kind of like your little baby. You've been raising it, you've been running it. If you're a solo founder, you're the only one who gets to see this company and the only person who's inside of this company daily. Now, it can be harder to let go of control and bring someone on board if you don't know if they're trusted, if you don't have the right procedures in place, you don't know exactly what they're going to do. So I'm going to talk about that in today's video and go a little bit more in depth on how to set up control inside of your company. Now, control is important because you don't want to just bring on someone into your company and have them run around and do a bunch of different things, because you won't be able to measure that. You won't be able to actually see if they're doing anything right. They're just going to run around kind of like a bull in a china shop. We don't want that to happen. We want to bring them on. We want to onboard them in the proper way, give them the right procedure, give them the right communication, and bring them into your company so they can get a desired result and they can help you grow your company instead of sinking it. Outsourcing doesn't mean losing control of your business. Instead, it means gaining control of your business in a certain way. Right now, as a solo founder, you're probably wearing every single hat. You're doing every single thing inside the business: sales, marketing, fulfillment, all of that. If you bring on someone to help you with fulfillment, now you've removed yourself from that. You can actually manage them. So you're still going to work, but it's going to be in a different way. You're going to be managing someone who's doing that technical work instead of you doing all the technical work. It doesn't mean you're not going to do anything. It's going to mean that you're just going to spend 2-3 hours a week managing the task instead of 2-3 hours a day doing the task. Now, the first step of maintaining control when hiring remote talent is to establish effective procedures. This is where most people go wrong when they're hiring remote talent, outsourcing VAs, whatever it may be. They don't actually have the tasks identified. This is the first step of what we need to do. We need to identify the tasks either through a time audit, which I've talked about in several other videos. But basically what that is over about 48 hours or 72 hours, you go through what you're doing every single day. You're writing this down, making sure you can identify what you need to outsource and what you're spending your time on. Usually you can split that up in a couple different columns: income producing activities, non-income producing activities. And from there, you can choose what you want to delegate and what you want to keep on your founder plate. Once you've identified these tasks, you can record or build a procedure around this. This is called a standard operating procedure. I like to use Loom. It's a very, very easy thing to do, where you can record a Loom video of what you need done inside of your company. From there, you could build out a step-by-step procedure, which is that standard operating procedure, that SOP that I mentioned here. Usually for SOPs, it's a big Loom video. It's step-by-step. I have a template right here that we'll go into. This is what the SOP template looks like. We've got the purpose. We've got that Loom video I mentioned. We have any context, how it relates to other processes inside of the business, terminologies they may not be familiar with, any tools they would need access to, let's say HubSpot, ClickUp if they're doing some project management, roles and responsibilities, who is actually going to be doing this task, and then the actual procedure, step by step, image shots, flow charts, whatever needs to be done to communicate how to do the task exactly. So once you have these standard operating procedures built, what you need to utilize is a project management system. If you do not have a project management system, or you do not know what you're doing each day when you sit down in front of your computer, you need a project management system. There's Asana, there's ClickUp, there's Monday. I like to use Monday. They're all kind of the same. They're meant to keep track of where projects are and your fulfillment pipeline. This is where you can put SOPs. You can kind of create a central database, so whoever comes onto your company can look at a certain section of the project management and know what SOPs to follow and what to do inside of your company. Since we've established these effective procedures, we want to move on to making clear communication channels. We only want 1 or 2 main places we communicate. We don't want someone contacting us on Slack, on email, on WhatsApp, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. All those different types of places, it fractures our attention, and it's hard to go get pieces from conversations and put them into the project management system. It's hard to make sure that all the communication is centralized. So what we want to do is we want to choose 1 or 2 main places, like a Slack or an email. That's what my company does, to communicate with our clients and then with our team. In the beginning, we want to set a schedule of meetings. So as you bring on someone into your company, you're integrating them, you have kind of some checks and balances in place. You want to meet with them 2 to 3 times a week. Now, this is very crucial in the beginning. It doesn't need to be an hour or an hour and a half long Zoom meeting. It just needs about 15, 20 minutes. just so you can make sure they're doing what needs to be done. And you can get feedback on those standard operating procedures, those effective procedures that we made in the first step. We've established effective procedures. We've made a clear communication channel or multiple communication channels. We now need to move on to tracking. What do I mean by tracking? We need to make sure that what the person is doing each day is actually getting done. We don't want to bring on someone to your company and we don't have a method of measuring what they're doing. So how we do this is by having an end of day report or doing time tracking. This is what an end of day report looks like. So you could imagine this is for a social media management position, which is a common like VA, executive assistant, or remote talent role that we hire for. We're tracking how many social posts are made. We have the date. This is a minor KPI where it's like what clients were these made for. You could do the number of posts that are awaiting approval and the number of hours worked on the task. This is a super basic way to do some tracking. This is great if you're working with a freelancer or kind of a contract VA, but usually what I like to do is actually have time tracking. I use something called Clockify. Clockify is super simple and easy to use. I use it for 20 plus individuals. I even employ time tracking myself. So when I'm working throughout the day, right now I have a time tracker going on this YouTube video. I'm tracking exactly what I'm doing so I know if I'm being focused and using my time when it's work time effectively. I want to do the same with the people I'm employing, and I want you to do the same with the people you're employing. You don't want to be paying someone for hours spent on them just scrolling social media and doing one-off kind of fractured tasks. You want them to be only working on work things during the work hours for what you're paying them for. This is a totally reasonable thing to request. You need to make sure that there's transparency and there's trust inside of the relationship. I don't ask someone to do something that I'm not willing to do. And so that's why I utilize it inside of my own company. I would suggest you do the same. You're gonna figure out a lot of areas where you yourself are not spending your time correctly. And maybe a virtual assistant or executive assistant can help you offload some of those tasks that you identify. By no means is this an endorsement again for Clockify. I just like using it. I think it's a really, really solid tool. I use it for 20 plus individuals. When you first bring someone on, you want to have continued training. This is gonna help them grow inside of their role. They're gonna be able to give you feedback on the procedures. You're gonna be able to give them feedback on the roles that they're doing. And in the end, everyone wins in a scenario like this. You don't want to bring someone on and just have them be cut off just to do their own thing completely. You have no checks and balances. You don't even talk to them. They're not going to succeed inside your company. They're not going to stay long at your company either. Thanks so much for watching the video. If you need help finding, vetting, and training remote talent, click the first link in the description. Hopefully you found the video useful. If you liked it, please comment, like, and subscribe. Thanks.